Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Indie Zone. My name is Kathy. One of the documents that was released to the public this week from the city of Moscow concerning the Moscow Police Department's investigation into the crimes at 1122 King Road is Detective Brett Payne's January 11th, 2023 narrative between himself and Kaylee's former boyfriend, J.D. Interestingly, this document recalls a conversation, an interview that Detective Payne had with J.D., written and signed January 11th, 2023, which would have been approximately 2 weeks after the Affidavit of Probable Cause. Detective Payne named J.D. First name, last name. In fact, when I saw that, I have always questioned why it is that J.D.'s entire name was published in the Affidavit of Probable Cause when everyone else, except for the victims, were either known by initials, their names were completely redacted from the affidavit, or in the case of the DoorDash driver, very, very scant details, no initials, no name removed, redacted, wasn't even an indication as to whether the driver, who we've now learned is female, what her gender was in the Affidavit of Probable Cause. In any event, in this document, we learn that on November 13th, 2022, at approximately 14:37 hours, I interviewed JD at the Moscow Police Department, referenced the quadruple unaliving which occurred at 1122 King. D consented to have his phone forensically searched and provided me with his cell phone at the beginning of the interview. I asked D to tell me about his day on November 12th, 2022. D stated he worked at redacted and worked from 1400 hours to 2210 hours on November 12th, 2022. D stated he left his work and dropped off some food for a friend working at the corner club. D stated he went home, blank King Road, then returned to the corner club around 2300 hours. D stated he saw Goncalves at the corner club and spoke to her briefly. D stated he left the corner club but was unaware if Goncalves left before or after him. D stated he went to bed when he got home. When D awoke, he told me he saw, quote, commotion down the street, end of quote. 1122 King Road is visible from blank King Road. D stated he later looked at his phone and saw several missed calls from Goncalves and Mogan from the early morning hours of November 13th, 2022. I clarified D timeline for the night prior. He told me he left the corner club at approximately 0100 hours and returned home. D said he got a ride from, name is redacted, the blank of blank D fraternity. He told me he thought he went to sleep at approximately 1:30 and awoke at approximately 11:30 on November 13th, 2022. Continuing on to the next page, I asked D to tell me what the, quote, commotion, end of quote, was. He mentioned, D told me he saw law enforcement and emergency vehicles in front of 1122 King Road. So he walked over to see what was happening. I asked D to clarify the missed calls he received early that morning. D told me he received multiple calls from Goncalves and Mogan, one of which was FaceTime between 0240 to 0300 hours. D stated he knew Mogan for some time, but she would not call him for any reason. D also said Gonzalez texted him to tell him he could come to her house to retrieve his vape pen. I asked D if he noticed or heard anything suspicious anytime recently. D stated he saw a dark gold minivan backing up King Road approximately 1 to 2 months prior. D stated he did not remember any other suspicious circumstances. It goes on to say, D stated he did not remember any other suspicious circumstances. D did add Gonzalez would call him on occasion when she was walking home alone or when, quote, she was feeling sketched out, end of quote. D stated there were people coming in and out of 1122 King Road frequently, and more people knew the code to their door than they should have. D stated he was not sure if the residents regularly locked the rear sliding glass door. D also told me he and Gonzalez owned a dog, a golden doodle named Murphy, with Gonzalez. He also told me Gonzalez was taking the dog out sometime in the past when Gonzalez saw a shadowy figure behind the house. D stated nothing else came out of the incident. I asked D about his relationship with Gonzalez. He told me they had dated for approximately 5 years and broke up several months prior due to a, quote, loss of spark, end of quote, coupled with Gonzalez leaving for a job in Texas. D stated there wasn't conflict and the breakup was mutual. I asked D if there was anyone who flirted with Gonzalez. D stated there was a male by the name of E.R. who often flirted with Gonzalez. D did not know of any past stalking incidents, nor did he know who would have committed these crimes. I asked D about his conversation with Gonzalez at the corner club. He said the conversation was short but normal. D did not have any further information for me during this interview, so I concluded my interview with D. This is written by Corporal Payne and reviewed and apparently approved by Sergeant Dustin Blacker. This is Kathy. Thank you for joining us here today.